Hey there, and welcome to Comedians on Technology, People and Drugs. I'm your host, as always, Sam Joseph, and today we're very lucky to have comedian Atharva Pharande with us. Hey Atharva, it's really great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam. I've wanted to do a podcast in the UK since a while, and I'm so glad that you invited me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. You're a very funny person. And I think, we have actually also gone live now on YouTube as well as Spotify and our podcasts. And we are actually here recording in the Fringe from the Monkey Barrel studio. And I think there, the inclusion of the Monkey Barrel name has pushed us over the edge. We're now the most popular podcast of all time. Apparently, Julius Caesar, Cleopatra. There's been a strange, incident with a time machine. Now everybody, not only everybody that's alive now, but everybody who's ever lived and everybody who ever will live is now listening to the podcast. So it's just the kind of things that Monkey Barrel can do for a show.
I think it was about time.
Yeah, there you go. They're amazing. The people here at Monkey Barrel. I don't know. They're gods among men, really. Anyway, but yeah, all of those people throughout time, I think, are really interested to try and understand better your comedy origin story. How did it begin?
Yeah. So I think 7 years ago, when I was 18 years old, fresh into college.
Oh yes.
Doing my bachelor's, I just left home. So I'm from Mumbai, and I shifted to Delhi, which is like in the north of India, and
Right.
I had a chance to like redefine myself. I'd always been like a very mediocre kid growing up
really?
in academics or sports or anything, and suddenly like I was very far from home, and nobody knew me there, and I had a chance to uh, create a new identity basically.
Right.
So in my first year of college, there's this freshers party,
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I was like selected in the talent round for it, and there were like 7 or 8 other competitors, like in the boys category and in the girls category, and everyone, we had like 1 week to prepare for it, and everyone was either singing or dancing, and I was like, I'll definitely lose if I do one of both. So I was like, yeah, I've been like the class clown growing up, and even before I started doing stand up, I already had like in my Instagram bio, I'd already had like I'd written potential stand up comic even before I did my first ever open mic. So I think it was marinating in my head, and
Sure.
I was intrigued by the art form, and yeah, I performed that day. I prepared like a 5-minute set with like impressions of my professors and my seniors, and I called it Atharva Pharande, the man who suffers from comic multiple personality disorder or something. And yeah, it worked out. I won that day, and that was the first time that I felt that high of being on stage, and I was like, oh my god, like people actually listen to you for 5 minutes. And I was like, I have to. And after that day, people started perceiving me differently. People started talking to me in a different way. And I was like, okay, the microphone holds power, and I have to keep chasing this feeling.
Right.
So
Wow.
yeah, that was the origin story.
Amazing. Right. And so then was that then the sort of the first time that talent show was the first time you'd ever gone on stage?
Yeah, like solo.
Yeah,
I
right.
had done like probably a couple of plays before, like side characters.
But
Yeah.
that wasn't your main thing.
No.
And this was, right, so you moved from Mumbai to Delhi and, a chance to reinvent yourself. I mean, moving from London to Leicester in the UK for university, and I, changed my name, and I definitely saw that as an opportunity to sort of like.
Oh, you changed your name?
I changed my name at that time. I mean, I've now since switched back, but for 3 years at Leicester University, I just told everybody that my name was Indiana. And so I was known as Indy.
Hence the cap.
I do. I'm a big fan of Harrison Ford and those series of movies. But it occurred to me, right, you're going to a place where nobody knows you, and they're going to ask you your name, and you're not necessarily. I mean, I think I always wanted to have a nickname. I mean, I only had insulting nicknames in school. I wanted to have a cool nickname, and I'm just narcissist, and I put one on myself. But so was that move from Mumbai to Delhi? Was that for university?
Yes, it was for university.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this talent show, that was a university
Yep,
thing.
freshers.
Freshers. Yep. As you say. Wow. And I mean that's for a lot of people. Doing stand up is like the kind of the most terrifying thing in the world. What gave you the confidence to do that, or is it? I mean, I guess you were saying like just you didn't want to dance or sing. You were looking around for something, and in terms of like getting that material together, I mean, a lot of people might just have left the country and avoid it. But what gave you the confidence to prepare for
Yeah.
that and get up on stage?
I mean, I was terrified and I had terrible stage fright, but I just had like I had this thing in me like I had taken a few risks before that, and I was like, if the risk pays off, then it can like exponentially change your life. I had this like gut feeling, and it did. Honestly, it did pay off, and yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And so then you got laughs and you felt great.
Yes, and I also like I had prepared the shit out of it. Like
okay.
for 1 week, I had been just thinking about it. I had been rehearsing in front of all my friends. I already like I didn't know the concept of open mics,
Okay.
but I had like told my set to like 10 of my friends like
Okay.
50 times before. So when I got up on stage, I was like in the zone. So I didn't
Yeah.
need to worry about the words.
Yes.
I just needed to be there. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, no, fantastic. And then, so that obviously kick-started things, but now, and we've spoken to many comedians on the podcast, and some people are addicted straight away and they're doing it as frequently as they can. Some people, they take a bit of a break and they come back to it a bit later. How was it for you in the days and weeks and months after that first show?
Right. Okay. So it was very weird because, so that happened. And then I didn't perform for 1 year after that. I was just like holding on to the title of Mr. Fresher, and I was like, I've done this once, and I didn't have the courage to go up again and follow that because that was a good day. And then 1 year later, there was this famous Indian comedian who was coming to my college. He was to like do a set on our festival or something. I don't know if does that happen in the UK as well, like college.
Yeah, I think it does. It does. Yes, I'm almost certain. I think it wasn't so common when I was at university. It's quite a long time ago, but I know in America and they do tour the colleges.
Right.
Yeah.
So a comic was coming to perform at our college, and I was the only other comedian in my college.
Okay.
So the comic asked if we have an opening act.
Okay.
And like the other members of the organizing committee were like, oh, we have one comedian in our college. And they told me that you have to open for this guy. And I was like, again, the risk thing kicked in. And I was like, okay, I have to do this. And this time I have to do this in my own voice. Because the last time I did like impressions. And I did a girl's voice. And I did like my professor's voice. But this time I was like, okay, I want to be myself. And I wrote like a 9-minute set. 0 open mics before that. And I was supposed to perform in a 800-seater auditorium. So I did the same thing. I like had a feedback loop of all my friends from different parts of the world and told them all the jokes, got feedback, edited. It was very instinctive because I didn't even know how like open mics work, but I was like, okay, this is the only way, right? So to like have a tighter set. I just did that and had 9 minutes, prepared really well, went up on stage like in front of 800 people, and again that changed my life again for the second time.
And that went really well, did it?
That went really well. I was very nervous, but like after the first laugh, I felt comfortable. And even the other comedian, he's like one of the biggest names in India right now. Back then he was like semi-famous, and right now he's at the peak of his career. So he really like. He gave me a lot of confidence as well. Like you need to like start doing open mics now.
Yep, right.
Yeah. So after that, I started like going to open mics in Delhi and Mumbai, wherever, and started getting some stage time.
Okay. Yeah. Well, amazing. And I don't really know anything about the open mic scene in Delhi. Is there a lot? Can you get up every night of the week?
Oh yeah, definitely. So especially in Delhi, there's a lot of stage time. Like now, a comic who's like serious about comedy, they can do like 3 or 4 mics a day.
Okay,
it's not that far as well.
Yeah.
So
but
like I used to do like once a week or something.
Okay.
Because I was in college. Yeah.
Right. Wow, fantastic. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Well, let's get on. Time is short. Into
Yeah,
our
yeah,
second question, which is about how technology is affecting your life in comedy. As I'm often saying at this point, by technology I mean big tent, and it could be whether it's I'm using a pen and paper to take
yeah.
notes right now, but we've
Oh,
got
even that's technology.
indeed exactly. So
Oh,
I
okay.
mean I think anything that's not entirely just that you're not born with. And in fact, I think ideas are a kind of technology. So, for example, Memory Palace, where as a way to remember your set,
Like
that is
techniques.
techniques. They're a kind of technology. But of course, we've also got these days AI and social
Yeah,
media and
yeah.
all of these things, and we've all got recording studios in our pockets. So I'd love to know how any kind of technology has really changed your life and how you do your comedy. And of course, it's a little subterfuge. I'm really interested to understand how you come up with the funnies.
Okay. So good and bad, right? Like,
Sure, sure.
yeah,
And of course, don't feel that you have to answer every aspect. It's sort of
yeah,
like there's a
yeah,
big thing
whatever.
there.
Yeah.
Pick and choose the area that you're most interested in.
So I'd start with the bad because when I think of technology
Yes,
and
sure.
comedy, it's like mostly it's been downhill since the last few years
Oh, yeah.
because yeah, like uh, every morning when I wake up, I like scroll on my phone, and as comics, so much of our lives depend on social media and what's happening around the world that your hand automatically goes to the phone, and then I start scrolling, and then you see some other comedian doing well somewhere, and you
Yeah.
tend to compare. And
Mm.
yeah, like I feel, yeah, not even that, but just using your phone in the morning, it just depletes all your dopamine reserves for the day, and
Mm.
you don't feel creative after that. You don't
Mm.
feel like creating something of your own because you've already consumed so much. So it's like content constipation almost.
Yes,
Yeah,
I completely agree. I think
yeah,
it can really, I mean, it's a remarkable technology for you for connecting you with people, but at the same time, it's this extraordinary envy machine, and yeah, it just sucks up time and energy
so
that you
true.
could be putting into something
So
else.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, and we don't get bored anymore, right? Like back in the day, there was a thing like we didn't have anything. We'd gone out to play with our friends and like done whatever we could. So we just sat there in a corner thinking about, okay, I'm actually bored right now, and what do I do? And I think that caused a lot of ideas because your brain hates the feeling of being bored, so it comes up with something naturally.
Yeah.
So I remember like 3 or 4 years ago, at least like even 2 years ago, so I love wordplay and puns and all those things. So I used to uh, tweet a lot. Like I used to like at least tweet like 5 times a day, and just like one-liners,
Okay.
some
Yeah.
wordplay, pun, something. And I used to feel really good about it, and I think that it was really healthy for my brain because it kept thinking in that direction.
Yes.
But now I don't tend to do that because I'm just not bored. I'm just watching something
Right.
constantly,
Yes.
YouTube or like reels, and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, over the years, I've often tried to make myself create this. So, for example, back in the day, before I was doing comedy,
Hmm.
um, looking on Facebook, I would try and make a deal with myself that I had to post an image of myself. This is when the kids were young, or whatever. I have to like create something and post it before I
Hmm.
allowed myself to consume other things as a
Right,
kind
that's
of
amazing. Yeah.
and like you mentioned the tweeting the one-liners. There was various things I've done. I mean, I'm kind of in a new phase now where actually we've got our other podcast, Joke Wranglers, which is outside of the Fringe context. Every week that there's like joke writing that I need to be doing for that show, and so but it's a tricky thing. I'm often, I mean, I try to have this new rule that I don't look at social media until 5 p.m.
Wow, really?
on a work day, so that I can try and be completely focused on
And you're
work.
able to do that?
Well, not every day. It's a goal that I aspire. I do manage
Amazing.
it
Yeah.
some days, and then sometimes like a Friday, and I'm like, and then sometimes there's like gigs coming up, and I need to talk to people, and it's I wish I could kind of like make a like a hotline to the few people who need to communicate with me that on that day, because the danger is, like, for example, you're doing messaging on Instagram and you just need to talk to a person, but then it's quite difficult with the app not to accidentally see
it
at
is.
least one thing, and you're like, okay, that person's got that, I want that. Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think even making the decision of like not using Instagram before 5 p.m. is it's a brave decision.
I think it's well.
So I think you're already halfway there.
Thank you. Yeah, well, definitely on the days where I've that's allowed me to be more focused at work during those days. I think it's definitely
Yes.
worth trying to keep it under control. At a festival like this, of course, then everything goes out the window. And yeah. But yeah, you're talking about absolutely the challenges of technology there.
Yeah.
Has it affected any aspects of your life in a positive
In a
way?
positive way. Yeah, like obviously a notepad helps to write. Yeah, I've also started writing on my laptop these days.
Okay. Yeah.
I never did that before,
Mm.
but yeah, I think it's actually nice. Where do you write? Do you write on your book or your laptop?
In the recent time, it tends to be I take notes on my phone and then I will do writing on the laptop. And I actually, particularly here at Edinburgh Fringe at the moment, and I'm trying to force myself to do more writing. I think I'm kind of first and foremost a performer, and I tend to like to sort of like make stuff up on stage.
Okay.
But
Wow.
I think I'm realizing that probably to be a successful comedian, I've got to balance that better and do more writing and put in more
At least be more
hours.
structured, maybe.
Yeah,
Even
and
if you're riffing on stage.
Well, and I think part of it is kind of, you can get some material to a certain level, and you can keep tweaking it on stage. There's something about writing it out and having a look at it and changing it around. And it's not the case that you write that down and you make that tweak and then you will say it exactly like that on stage the next day. It's sort of almost like giving yourselves a different lens to look at it through. And then, so maybe you'll use that reformulation that you tried, or maybe you won't. But it's kind of like, I think there's I think there's something to be gained from spending time on the laptop.
Yeah. I'm still figuring it out. Like, do I prefer writing on a paper or laptop? I think it's still a
Yeah.
ongoing journey.
Okay.
Because some days I feel like my thoughts flow more naturally on a piece of paper.
Okay, sure.
Because maybe I've been conditioned to write since I was a kid, right? So like
Yes.
when we used to write essays back in school,
That would all
or
be on
whatever.
paper, would it?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I think it triggers a different part of my brain, maybe.
Sure.
But I'm again not sure, because in the last 10 years I've only been texting people like long messages. So who knows? So I think it's an ongoing process. But the thing that I like about writing on a paper is that you don't have to like, if you write something, you have to like cut it out. You can't backspace. So
Okay.
that idea still stays on that
Okay.
paper somewhere.
Yeah. It's got a certain level of permanence.
Yes.
Right.
And I like that we can refer that like it's like even before the first draft.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think there is with paper. There's, I mean, partly why notes for the podcast. I'm circling things and line for things, and there is kind of like, there's definitely something to be said for the paper side. So tell me about the comedy process. Are you also making little notes on your phone, or you're making little notes in a notebook, or how does something go from an initial idea to becoming a successful joke for you?
Yeah, it's always first step is always notes on my phone.
Yeah,
So like whenever I'm traveling, whatever I'm doing, even if I'm in the middle of a conversation with my friends, like if something funny happens, I immediately note it down, like just 3 random
Sure.
keywords on my phone, and a lot of times it doesn't even make sense the next day.
Right,
Because
sure. Yeah.
what is a cow and a hat, like but yeah, the first step is always the notes, because it's the quickest way to
Yes.
reach.
Yeah.
And we often we tend to overestimate our brain, like it'll remember things, but yeah, you have to note it down. And then like whenever I feel like writing, like probably on the weekend, or like once in 2 days, whenever I get some time, I sit down, I write all of those things on my notepad.
Okay.
And then I see if like things connect, or what I feel really strongly about. So I've realized that there has been a pattern, like whenever I felt really strongly about an issue or a topic, mostly inspired like from my personal life, it tends to have like a good joke in the
Right.
end,
Okay.
at the end of the
Okay.
tunnel.
Right.
So
And are you still using that technique that you described in the beginning, where you're talking that thing through many times with your friends before you take it on stage, or,
right.
or has that changed now? Are you taking stuff straight on stage and then recording yourself, watching it back, tweaking it? How does the bit evolve as you do it more
Yeah.
and more?
So yeah, no, that has reduced a lot because now I don't have to talk to like 10 friends.
Yeah.
I just tell it to my girlfriend
Okay.
or like one friend maybe
Yes.
on a
Yes.
call, and if they're okay with it, sometimes they don't even get it,
Yeah.
but if I am confident in the idea, I just go on stage and try it out once.
Okay.
Because we have a structure now, right? We have
Yeah.
audiences and everything.
Sure.
So
Sure.
yeah, I don't. But at least I tell one person. I
Okay.
like to tell
Okay.
one person about it.
And then is the, like I say, are you, having done it on stage, are you recording yourself back and rewatching it and then tweaking it? How does it progress over,
I
you know?
record, so I audio record,
Oh yeah.
and v- I don't listen to all my recordings because
Mm.
I hate my voice.
Oh dear. No.
But yeah, whenever I feel like if something really worked and the next time it didn't work, then I go back and listen to both recordings and like
Uh-huh.
figure out what was different in those, or
Okay.
was it just the audience.
Yeah.
So according to my convenience, I do it, but it's not that strict a process that I need to listen to myself.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
feel like we tend to make a note mentally when we're in the moment as well. So I trust that. Yeah.
And then, sort of, in terms of like the developing set over time, are you tracking carefully? Like, so, I mean, not that you're required to do this, and there's no judgment. I'm just telling you about some of the other comedians. Like, so, for example, I think Gareth Beavis
Yeah.
is one of the folks who's been most obsessed with the data associated with stand-up. So he has a spreadsheet, and so every joke that he does, he like records like, oh, that was in this venue, and this is what the room was like, and this is how many people were here, and he tries to track, which jokes are working well and what have you. I mean, I personally am much more touchy-feely about it. How about you?
I'm very intuitive. Like
Yeah.
I think the only reason why I'm doing comedy is because I hated all those aspects of my
Right.
life, like having a structure
Right.
and
Right. Right.
data analysis and all of
Yeah.
those
Yeah. Yeah.
things. So yeah, I prefer it to be like very intuitive and emotion based and touchy feely, as you said,
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
rather than very data oriented, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, it's ironic. See, my day job is very structured.
Oh, really?
Like mathematics, programming, all these kind of
Oh.
things. Um, and so occasionally I sort of like will do things that are a bit more structured. But I think partly, this is my passion
I agree.
project,
I agree.
and I
Yeah.
kind of. I want it to be more relaxing and fun.
Totally.
Is the
I agree.
idea.
I
Is the
agree.
idea.
Yeah.
Well,
But no shame
go
in
on.
doing that as well.
No. I mean, well,
Yeah.
I think we're both in the same boat of wanting that, not too much
Yeah.
structure, and it's about feeling your way through it, and I think that's perfectly, and I think many people do it that way. Probably the people who are doing the very, very detailed analysis are relatively few in the arts, but not that they don't, but they may well get some benefit from it, and great for them.
Yeah, great for them.
No judgment. But well, let's go on to our third question,
Yeah.
which is about the people that have had the biggest impact on your life and comedy, and
comedy.
that could be very famous comedians. I mean, I'd love to hear the name of this
Oh.
guy who you opened for. Could be other people on the circuit who are helping you out. Could be friends and family. Could be mentors, teachers, anybody who's really sort of like changed the course of your life, particularly, or particularly changed the course of your comedy. Now, I don't feel under pressure to mention everybody's names, but whoever you'd like to shout out, we'd love to hear about them.
Okay. I'll start with the first influence. That is my like one of my teachers, I'd say. So when I was in like 6th grade, my mom enrolled me for an English class,
Oh yeah.
like an English literature
Okay.
class, and I had English I went to an English school, but this teacher was like renowned in my city because she was like very tough on students, but she like she chased excellence and things like that.
Right.
And even my sister went to the same teacher, but she used to hate her. Like she used to feel pukish before the class
Oh dear.
because it was so anxiety inducing just going to her class. She was so strict with kids. But I used to love her because she used to validate, like if you did something right, she used to validate you.
Okay.
But if you did something wrong, she used to shout at you.
Yeah.
But yeah, she she had this thing, like she used to tell us that read a newspaper article and come up with the headline for that article. So like reverse.
Okay.
And if the headline, it has to be a very catchy headline, very short and catchy. And if it has a pun in it, you get like an extra, like a bonus point. And I started doing that from a very young age. So like when I was like 11 years old, and I started looking for these patterns in words and things like that. And I want to have the most catchiest headline today. And yeah, I started doing well in that class. And so I think that really changed the way I look at words
Right.
and things. So that teacher, I still message her like once a year. I send her
Wonderful.
a recent stand-up clip
Oh, wonderful.
and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
What was that teacher's name?
Neeta Chakravarti.
Fantastic.
yeah.
Shout out to her. Wonderful.
Yeah, shout out to her. The second probably, the comic that I opened for, his name is Samay Raina.
Right. Wonderful.
So he's an Indian comic. Tours around the world now. Has like I think like 10 million followers on Instagram.
Amazing.
His YouTube special is actually the most watched YouTube special in the world
Wow.
right now. It's 65 million
Wow.
views on YouTube.
I think only second to our own podcast here, which is of course
Exactly.
gets everybody, but
Yeah,
still
yeah.
he's a close second, so it's good. Good on him. Good on him. Yeah.
But yeah, so I wouldn't say that he's my favorite comedian, but just the fact that he's the first one that I got a free audience because of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Means
Wonderful.
a lot to me.
I'm sure.
Other than that, so I also open for some of the Indian comics that come to the UK.
Yeah.
So if you know Kannan Gill, he's also performing at the Edinburgh Fringe this year. So I open for him, and I get to learn a lot from these guys
Sure.
because they're like veterans of the scene, and
Wonderful.
they're really nice to me. But other than that, who else? My parents, obviously. So if you know, stand up is like, it's not a viable. It wasn't a viable career option back home in India because it's a new art form.
Right.
Like just 20 years old probably in India. Like the modern stand up, we had like
Sorry about that. Go on.
we had like other forms of comedy back, like sketch comedy or like slapstick comedy or something like that. But modern stand up is relatively new. So just my parents understanding this, that I'm doing this right now, and them not stopping me from doing this, they're just very supportive about it. So I think if they weren't there, I wouldn't have.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And you're based in the UK.
Yes, in London.
Now.
In London.
And is it are you full time?
Yeah, currently. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
amazing. Yeah, fantastic. Right, and so your support from your parents, absolutely wonderful, fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, and I was really enjoying you mentioning about the English teacher. I mean, ironically, yesterday I had to interview myself because the comedian didn't turn up.
You had to? Really?
Yeah. Well, I'm a flexible guy.
Did that?
I did that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That show will be out for people to see,
I'll
with
watch
me
that.
interviewing myself. And one of the people I didn't mention, I think I was very inspired by my English teacher, Mr. Pape.
Oh,
Where
really?
there's similar,
Nice.
and he was just very charismatic. And I just really English was until I was 14. It was my favourite subject. I really loved writing, and then actually we switched and had a different teacher after 14, and then maths became my favourite subject, and I went in a different direction for the my main career for my life. But
I feel English teachers they're different.
yeah, they can definitely have an impact. No, that's fantastic, wonderful. Let's. I'm kind of. Well, I was going to move on to the next question. I'm sort of really interested to dig into that career angle, because so you were doing the comedy through university, and then what was the process whereby you ended up coming to the UK was that on the back of stand up? I mean, we spoke to Sangdong Park on the podcast. He's
Oh
a
yes, yeah, I know him. I know him.
Korean
Yeah.
guy, very very funny.
He's got the artist visa as well
Yeah,
recently.
right.
Yep.
So come over
Yeah.
on there. Have you done the same?
Oh,
Tell us the
he's.
story. Yeah, of
I've
how-
been in touch with him because I'm planning to take the same
Right,
route
right.
after like probably I still have a year left on this visa,
Okay,
so maybe in 6 months I'll start applying and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, so I came to the UK not because of stand up,
no,
because I came here to do my masters.
Okay.
So
yep,
2.5 years ago,
Right.
I was actually enrolled to in a French business school. It was called
really?
ESCP Business School.
Okay.
So my course was based in London and Paris.
Oh, amazing.
So I was
Yeah.
in London for 9 months in the beginning,
uh-huh.
and then I moved to Paris for 6 months, and then I had an option to either stay back in Paris or come back to London for
Mm-hmm.
my internship. But yeah, I'd already been doing comedy at both places, London and Paris.
Yeah,
where I
right.
was
In the
studying.
evenings, you'd be getting out on the
Right,
open mics
right.
and so on. Yeah.
So, and I realized like the London stand-up scene is massive and there's so much happening, and Paris had like a small scene.
Yeah, no, I've done a little bit in Paris, but yeah,
Right,
it's bigger in
Blast
London.
Off and
Yeah,
all these
yeah.
places. Plus, yeah, I didn't have a great time in Paris, like generally, because all the stereotypes,
Okay.
I kind of found them to be true in my case.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yeah, London seems like a much like I like London, so
Sure,
I came
sure.
back to London, and yeah, since my internship ended, I just like started gigging almost every day, and
Yeah.
found a way to get some good gigs every month,
mhm.
and then I was also looking for a job on the side, but one of my friends suggested that if this is going all right, then why don't you just double down or just put in more effort now
Yeah, yeah.
and try to monetize this. So I've been doing that since the
Brilliant.
last
Yeah, and as we
7,
all
8
know,
months
it's so
now.
easy to make money out of comedy, isn't it?
Not
Just-
at
oh,
all.
It's like
It's so
it's like the
stressful.
gravy. It's the easiest career. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
Well,
so stressful. like,
yeah, no,
yeah.
indeed so. Well, fantastic. And well, let's jump on to our penultimate question now, which is about how drugs affect your perception of reality. And as I often say at this point in the show, one, to all the listeners, do be careful out there. There are a lot of different substances that may affect you differently than the people who come on this show. So do be careful what you put in your body. And also, like with the technology question, by drugs I mean all kinds of substances. And so people
Coffee,
on
everything,
on the show have spoken about their struggles with coffee, with alcohol. In some cases, how antidepressants have been really great for them. Or so by drugs I mean legal, illegal, prescription, all of those things. Some people, Sangdong Park was talking about his struggles with fast food. So we all, there's an extent, we're all.
Yeah, that's one for fast food.
There you
yeah.
go. Yeah, particularly for the stand-up comedian, late night, late night sausage rolls. Lovely, but you've got to be careful there. So I guess what I'm really interested in is which substances play a particular role in getting you through the day, and which, if any of them, cause you to look at the world in a different way.
So I'd say like regularly it's mostly just coffee and nicotine
Oh yeah.
and alcohol. Like
No, yeah.
not every day, but in the fringe maybe. But
Okay.
but yeah, like once a week, like once in
Yeah.
2 weeks, whatever. But I'd say like coffee helps, but I think it's also mostly just placebo because uh, I just feel fresher after a coffee, not because like I can have coffee very late in the night and still have a very sound sleep.
Okay.
So I don't think like it makes me more alert.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just a ritual. It's become a ritual now. So I do it. I just have a mocha.
Yep.
So I want the best of both worlds, like bit of
Right.
chocolate and
Oh,
coffee.
yummy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not a very espresso,
No, okay.
that kind of a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do it for the soul.
Right.
And
Rock and roll.
apart from that, yeah, nicotine. I've been smoking since the last couple of years.
Okay.
And not like too much, but like 2 or
Yeah.
3 a day. And I think it's just like it's not a good habit, and I feel guilty doing it all the time. And I don't think many people do feel guilty, but I'm one of those people because maybe conditioning and everything. But yeah, it's just like a reset button. Like
Okay.
I feel like if I like after this podcast, if I go out and smoke, I'll just feel like okay,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
change of gears now.
Okay.
It can be to a relaxed gear or to like like right before going on stage. It can be like a pump up gear.
Oh, really?
So it's just like it's a mental thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's necessary, but yeah, I do want to quit whenever
Right.
I can.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm working on it.
Well, and it sounded like, I mean, with this sort of holy trinity, shall we say, coffee, nicotine, alcohol, it sounds like you're not kind of like sort of, what's the word, going to extremes
No,
with
no,
any of
not at
them.
all.
They're
No.
they're all just stuff that's sort of going on
Yeah.
in some moderation. You know, as you said, I mean, well, I did used to smoke until it was in Edinburgh that I realised that it really was an addiction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, so I
When was this?
so this was, I mean, so but like having gone to university at 18 and starting to get more frequently drunk, and then I was around a lot of people smoking, and then as I was talking about in the episode yesterday, you know, smoking dope, and I kind of got to the point actually through smoking dope of finally inhaling, and then became probably like 2021 quite addicted to cigarettes in that I would end up smoking quite a lot. And by the time I moved on from Leicester to Edinburgh University, and I think the first year here doing like loads of theatre, I was up to smoking like 20 a day.
Oh,
I was
damn.
going through, you know, and I went from like Marlboro Lights to Marlboro Reds, and I was smoking a lot, and I was quite you know compulsive with it. And I remember I was 22, 23. I had a cold and my throat was really sore, and you know, and it was like I really, you know, if I smoke now, it's going to make it feel awful. But I remember walking over the bridge over to the new town and smoking this cigarette and kind of thinking, oh God, that's made it worse. I really, really shouldn't have done that, and I really mustn't have another, right? And then before I got to the end of the bridge, I was already smoking another one. But rationally,
Oh
I
my
knew this
God.
is just going to cause pain, but I couldn't help myself. And I was like, yeah, this is addiction. I tried for many years to give it up. It wasn't until I moved to Japan when I was 25 that sort of took me away from my friends who smoked. And ironically, then in Japan, the cigarettes are really cheap.
Yeah.
And but I kind of sort of with the new, a bit like what we talked about, you know, the chance of moving to a new place, new name, new what have you. I was like, this is a chance for a new start, and I haven't smoked, and that's been like 30
Wow.
years now. But it was really
Proud of you.
thank you so much. It was tough.
But
It was
that story is so accurate. Like it encapsulates the addiction so perfectly. Like you know that I am not feeling good right now doing this, but I still have to.
Indeed so. Indeed so. I mean, in some ways, comedy sometimes the same. It's like,
But yeah, like also like weed. I used to do it back in college,
Yeah.
and just like recreationally. Used to have fun with my friends, good conversations.
Yeah.
But yeah, now when I do it, I feel really paranoid.
Yeah,
I'm super anxious, get all the worst possible thoughts. So
Yeah, as I was talking about in the show yesterday, that was what put me off. Also in Edinburgh, about 23. Interestingly, the paranoid feelings with the dope, they were unpleasant, and I quit it.
yes, yes.
What was ironic was that the addiction stayed for the tobacco, not for the dope. Is very very
Same
strange.
with me actually. I started with weed as well. Like, and I was one of those guys who was like, oh, I want to just do blunts and no tobacco in that. But then somehow tobacco made its way, and then the
It's.
weed
I mean,
went.
that is that they talk about weed being a gateway drug to tobacco. That's
So
the
true,
yeah,
so true.
yeah.
We've had like similar trajectories a lot of times. The English teacher and this.
Yeah, you know, but brothers by another mother. Yeah, good show. And so, but it sounds like well, it's interesting. You would these phrases that you were using: reset button, change of gear, pump up on. Like, I mean, you're sort of saying, oh yes, it's sort of placebo, but you are using kind of these substances to sort of like put punctuation in the day.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. But as I say, it sounds like it's not massively out of control, and you know something you've got. Well, let us then maybe move on to our ultimate question, which really is the ultimate question, which is what does it all mean? This life, this universe, this everything. I mean, now some people can be intimidated by what is said to be the big question. I mean, to me, it just seems so bizarre that we experience these lives. I mean, you can sort of flip between oh, kind of life is boring and this is a bottle of water and I'm going to go to the bathroom and, same old, same old, same old. But we live in this remarkable, miraculous universe with, incredible texts like Alex, they're unbelievable. You don't recognize the miraculousness of the tech
Shout
in
out,
Monkey Barrel,
Alex.
but not just Alex. I mean, there's other things. It's a remarkable world. And some people have, a religious background or a philosophical background or what have you, and different comics on the show. Many of them, generally people are mainly sort of agnostic and not sure, but there are, we've had some people who are sort of like more explicitly atheist. We've had some people who are explicitly, Muslim or Christian or what have you. We should probably have some Jewish people on the show. I hope I'm not going to get cancelled for. I mean, I'm a quarter Jewish. You should see my foreskin. No, anyway, but no, I really am a quarter Jewish. But yeah, I think you are you perhaps from a Hindu?
Yes, I am
background?
Hindu. Yes.
Yeah. Which sorry, I don't mean to like judge.
But how did you know? Like, did you just because I'm from India? Did you?
I was just sort of guessing. And
No, good guess.
I mean,
good
I guess
guess.
it's like India, Pakistan. By the way, on behalf of the British government, I'm so sorry. I mean, I don't represent them, but I think we were awful. Anyway, but yeah,
It's fine. We're over it now.
That's good to hear.
We love Pakistanis
Because
now.
I was feeling very guilty, but no, I'm all good. I should stop bubbling and give you a chance to answer the question, which is, I mean, you can answer the smaller, simpler question, which is just like what gives your life meaning and what do you enjoy day to day. But if you've got any perspective on the bigger question of what this all means, I'm all ears.
I'll just like give out random
Please.
thoughts and ideas that I have about this. So yeah, I grew up Hindu, not very religious. Both my parents were like, they weren't that big into religion.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just like basic festivals like Diwali and stuff we celebrated. But now I'm agnostic and and I'm like one of those people who like believe in the universe kind of a thing and manifestation and like somehow like thoughts create your reality and perception of the world. So when I was like in my 9th grade, I read this book called The Secret. You might have heard of it.
Yes.
Yeah, there's like a lot of mixed feelings about it now around the world, but yeah, I did relate to a lot of parts in that, and I applied it to my own life, and I saw some things that were like almost like miracles at that point of time, and that instilled my faith in like the law of attraction or the universe. And so now I just like I believe that there are certain aspects of your life that are like destined and that are like almost pre-written. So like if things don't go your way, you're like, oh, this is for the larger part of the story, and I didn't get this because I'm meant to get that or something. But I believe that there's a balance between both, like things that you can change and control, the law of attraction part of it, and the other one is things that are pre-written.
Right.
So yeah, that's how I look at it right now. Maybe it will change in 6 months, but yeah, it keeps changing. And apart from that, yeah, I struggle with this feeling, like even as comedians, like sometimes people are like, if you don't want to feel the lows, then you don't even feel the you shouldn't even feel the highs. Like if a show goes really well and you feel really good about it, if a show goes bad the next day, you'll feel really bad about it. And people are like, you have to be zen, like somewhere in the middle. Don't take both those things personally. But I'm like, then what's the point of life? I feel like I feel you need to savor all those losses and the wins.
It reminds me of something my father said at my wedding, which is a quote by Khalil Gibran, which is, "We are hollowed out by sorrow, like our capacity for joy." So there's an extent to which, like like those negative feelings, they enable the positive ones. It's I hear what you're saying.
Yes, totally.
It's really interesting. Yeah.
Also, I'm a huge believer in like flow state, and doesn't happen all the time, but I chase that feeling. I love the flow state, right?
It's like when you're working and you're in the zone, and they're kind of like time kind of like
I think that's like one of the most beautiful feelings.
No, it is lovely when that happens. Yeah. Well, I mean, really, really interesting. I mean, we probably don't have so much time to go into it. I wonder if you can. I mean, like, I've heard of The Secret. I'm kind of like, I might be like my brain like skipping a track, but it's like, is that just like the one about how to pick up girls? No, maybe it's different from that. I don't know. But you mentioned a couple of times the law of
The law
attraction.
of attraction,
And,
yeah.
and I mean, so I'm very familiar with manifestation from Eckhart Tolle, who talks about that a lot, and I talk a lot about him on the podcast. But can you
Echo, what's his name?
Eckhart Tolle,
Eckhart Tolle.
he's originally of German descent. He's a spiritual
Oh,
author who wrote The Power of Now, and
Power of Now. Oh, I
yes,
know about the book.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Also, have you heard about Neville Goddard?
Neville Goddard. No, I
Yeah,
don't know that I.
that's a good one
Okay,
as
oh,
well.
somebody should
Yeah.
check out. Brilliant,
I
brilliant.
think Secret is the most basic one out of all these books.
Okay,
But it's like when you're really young,
yeah,
it is very palatable for
right,
you. So I think that's what I that's why I got into it.
sure.
Now there are things about the book that I also disagree with.
Okay,
But back then it at least
yeah.
got me believing in this concept.
Right, and can you maybe like very quickly summarize the law of attraction and indeed some of these early, miracles or what have you that you like, just for
So
the
no,
listeners?
nothing like that insane. Like more like the issues that I had back in my life back then. So
Right.
I'll just very briefly tell you about a couple of incidents. So in when I was in my 10th grade, I wasn't doing very well academically. I was like very distracted and stuff, and
Uh-huh.
I in my pre-boards. Do you know pre-boards, like before your board exams? Do you know what a board exam is?
I can imagine.
So like your final, like your
Yeah.
most intense exam in
Mm.
10th grade.
Mm.
You have an exam before that, like 1 month before that exam,
Yeah.
and in that exam I got like 57%, and I
Okay.
did horribly. I flunked
Mm.
in 2 subjects
Yeah.
because I was like dating someone and like very distracted, like
Sure.
young boy in love kind of thing. But then my parents, or my dad and me had like a very bad relationship back then. He used to like
Mm-hmm.
force me to like study and demotivate me all the time, and so I just wrote at like 4 places around my house in present tense that I have got 90% in my 10th boards, and I studied in an ICSE board. Like you wouldn't get that, but it just means that between your pre-boards to your boards you can only take a leap of like 10 or 15% maximum.
Uh-huh.
But this was like from 57 to 90 was like
Yeah.
a huge task, and I only had 1 month to prepare. But every night before sleeping, I used to work hard in the day, like,
Yeah.
but before sleeping I used to just, while I switched to that subconscious part of my brain, I used to visualize very deeply that I have got those 90%, and I
Right.
used to feel the feelings, not just imagine, but feel the feelings that I will when I actually get those
Okay.
90%, and I'm called on stage, I'm being given something,
Right.
an
Right.
award. I'm like looking into my father's eyes and being like, hey, all those things I used to feel
Right.
every
Right.
night
Right.
very
Right.
intensely,
Okay.
to a point where I always like, I also like felt like crying in that moment or something.
Right. It's getting
And I
emotional.
did that for a month, and it happened very naturally. And in the end, I got exactly 90%
Amazing.
in my 10 boards. Same with the 12th exam as well.
Right.
And yeah, a few times like this.
Yeah, oh, well, I think that explains it perfectly. It's this positive visualization. It connects with something Eckhart Tolle says about what Jesus says, which is this idea of like believe that you have been given something and it shall be rendered unto you. There's this
Yes.
idea of, and then sort of like from a more sort of Western psychological point of view, is often the desire for something gets in the way of you doing the work to get it. And if you can actually truly believe that you already have
That
it,
100%.
suddenly you will get out of your own way and do the work to get the
100%.
thing.
It's all about clearing that resistance
Yeah.
and surrendering.
Well, surrendering, fantastic, wonderful. Well, fantastic answer to the final question there. I think before we
Surrender, that's my last word.
wrap up, you're the first person to ever do the last word. Before the last word comes, you had a trailer there for it. Before we do the last word, let's promote your stuff. People are all over the known universe and throughout time and space and history are champing their teeth and stamping their feet, wanting to know how they can see more of your comedy. Where should they be going to do that?
Okay, to see more of my comedy, like even like live shows and stuff.
Well, I mean, you're here in the Fringe. I mean, on social
Yeah,
media.
yeah.
Where should they go?
Yeah, so I'm doing a split bill show in the Fringe every day at 11:15 p.m. at the Carbon Lounge right down the
Right,
road
right.
near Monkey Barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Every night 11:15 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Overstimulated. It's a split bill stand-up show. Other than that, I keep performing in London. I'm going on tour with one of the comedians called Kanan Gill.
Brilliant.
Starting from the 3rd of September to the 13th of September around the UK. So I'll be there in most cities.
Fantastic.
And I'm doing the BBC New Comedy Awards tomorrow. So if
Fantastic.
anybody's free and if this goes out before that,
Yep.
please come by and support.
Fantastic. We'll get this straight up. And and on social media, they should follow you.
Yes, my Instagram is atharva.farande. I'll spell it out. It's tough. ATHARVA dot PHARANDE. That's my Instagram.
Brilliant. Yeah, and we'll get that in the show notes as well for people who want to follow you. Well, thanks everyone. And remember, you can help support comedians on technology, people, and drugs by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts. I think it goes up to like 1 million, infinite number of stars now. So let's max it out. Not that we need any of these things now that we're the most popular podcast in all of space, time, and history. But we'd still. I mean, you're obviously already following us on Spotify. So why not ask questions and comments there? We would love to hear from you. Similarly on YouTube, and we look forward to being in your ears again soon. Last word to our fantastic guest, Atharva Pharande.
Surrender.